0, 1.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Lead with Love podcast with Dr. Q. A little behind the scenes, this is take 4. Yeah, 4 whole takes, but I am still here. And this is the podcast where we talk about love, leadership, and real life lessons that actually matter. And today we are closing out chapter 4, Take Time to Listen, with episode 30, where we're going to talk about the cost of not listening as leaders. So remember, if you are here today, it is not by accident because I barely made it. So we are not here by accident. We are exactly where we are supposed to be. So for the 4th time, let's jump in. Okay, real talk for a second. I know that you all have been in a situation, and I want you to be honest with yourselves. Really honest, because that's who the most important person to be honest with is ourselves. You've been in a meeting. You've been in a meeting with someone or, with a group of people, and you are like nodding and writing notes and, really engaging. But the truth is, you are completely thinking about something different. You're thinking about your grocery list. You're thinking about a conversation you just had with your significant other and the conversation you're going to have after you leave this meeting, or the text message that you're going to send. Or you could potentially be like just forming a response to whatever they're saying before they even actually say it. Am I the only person that's been there? Anybody in the room? Okay, right. We've all been there. And it's funny kind of when we admit it to ourselves, but the truth is, what's not actually funny is that moment. That moment and what it costs the person sitting across from you, because they can feel it. They always feel it, and they may not be able to put their finger on it, but what is going to land for them, even if they can't call it, is I'm not important enough to be heard. That one quiet, very wordless feeling will outlast every performance review or motivational speech that you may give them. People remember the moments that they were not listened to for a very, very long time. So today, we are talking about what not listening actually cost us, the real cost in people, in trust, in culture, in the leaders that we lose when nobody stopped long enough to just hear them. Not just the leaders, the people that we lose. And this is the closing episode, like I said before, of Take Time to Listen, the deep dive that we did. And we're going to close it with some receipts, real research, real stories, and some truth that I think some of us need to really sit in. I know I need to sit in it. Let me just talk about me. All right, let's get into it. Everyone's heard the saying, numbers don't lie. And that's true. And here's what the data says. No, that's true. Sometimes numbers can be a little but the data says that feeling heard at work is one of the top 3 factors that determine whether someone stays in a position or leaves their job. Not the salary, not the title, not the coffee in the machine or the cookies in the break room. No, feeling heard, which means that one of the most powerful retention strategies available to each and every one of us right now is completely free. It just costs your time and attention. And yet research shows that most people listen at only 25% efficiency. Did y'all know that? Which means that 75% of what people tell you, you miss it. The warning signs, the ideas, the truth, the things that they almost said but decided not to finish, gone. They're gone. Not because it wasn't offered to us, but it was because it was not received through active listening. So here is the honest question. If your team is telling you what they need and what is not working, and you are catching just a quarter of it, then what that means is you're just leading from a quarter of a tank. Who wants to go on a trip with a quarter tank? No one. You're going to be stranded. But you probably think that you're on the full tank. But here's the hard truth, that the most expensive leadership mistake that you or we are making right now is not a bad budget decision or a failed strategy. It is the conversations that we are half present for every single day. The same is true in our relationships. Inattention is not a small thing. It is costing you and the people and your people. It's costing you intelligence. It's costing you things that your organization just cannot afford to lose. So, in the book, you all know this. I surveyed hundreds of leaders and people that have been led in this work. And I have to tell you that when I asked people to share their experiences of not being heard, the responses were visceral. Listening was mentioned more than 95 times. They weren't asking for more money or better titles. No, they were only asking over and over times 95 in the stories that were shared to me to be heard. And so let me tell you about an administrator who did everything right. A physical altercation broke up and between the student and the teacher, and she stepped in, to try to de-escalate it. Ensured that the proper procedures were followed with her training, and she handled it the right way. And then she was called into the meeting with the director and the principal and was harshly blamed for stepping in. She goes, I wasn't met with understanding. She said that, or like a desire to be heard or for them to seek the truth. No, they just chastised me, and I was spoken to with such condensation as if my commitment or my integrity didn't matter. That's what she said. She said it was a moment where accountability could have coexisted with support, but instead the leadership chose shame over growth. Oh, the impact of that situation, she said, it left me feeling devalued, unheard, and emotionally isolated. It eroded my trust in the district's leadership culture. Ultimately, it fueled my desire to move to another district. She left. A brave, committed, do the right thing leader walked away and walked out the door. Not because the work was too hard, because physical altercations, that's traumatic, but because nobody stopped long enough to hear what actually happened in the space. And then there's this one. I'm going to read this one. A teacher came to a leader kind of struggling with a student situation that had been escalating. And instead of the leader listening to her, she just laughed. Like she just laughed at her and made a joke of it. She didn't intervene. She didn't follow up. And that teacher wrote this. That's what she wrote. The leader made me feel unsupported, making the remainder of the year very uncomfortable. The remainder of the year, one moment, y'all, one moment. That is what not listening can do, because the teacher didn't feel heard. Now, I want to pause here because I know that some of you are thinking, did that leader even know? Probably not. They were probably stressed out. There was a lot happening when altercations happen. There's a list of things leaders need to do. And maybe the other leader thought that humor would kind of lighten up the moment that teacher was experiencing. And I get that. We all have done something that landed wrong when we actually meant well. And that is probably very true. But here's the real: intent doesn't cancel impact. You can mean well and still leave someone feeling like they do not matter. Intent doesn't cancel impact. And in leadership, the feeling that your people walk away with is the only thing that counts. Not your intention, their experience with you. Intent doesn't cancel impact. So, I want us to close this season with the question that I think matters the most for us. When you leave this role, whatever role you sit in as a leader, what will people that you lead say about whether or not you heard them? What will they say? Not whether you were strategic, not whether the numbers went up, not whether, what will they say about whether or not their voice mattered? Will they say that the leader actually listened to me? Because here's what I know after years of leading, coaching, and collecting stories over and over is that you lose good people not because they cannot handle hard conversations or high expectations. That is not why they leave. You lose them because they cannot survive in environments where their humanity is dismissed, where they feel invisible, where the leader is in the room but nobody is really home. They're somewhere else. And that is the thing. Being present is it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a daily choice. Like love. Love is a daily choice. It's daily. It's intentional. But sometimes it's inconvenient. But it is the one thing that changes everything. Oh, it is the one thing that changes everything. So this week, I want you all to find someone that you have not really checked in with lately. Ask them one question. Is there anything that you have been wanting to say, but haven't felt like there was space to say it? And then I want you to get quiet and actually find out. The best leaders I have ever known were not the loudest voices in the room. No, they were the ones who made room for everyone else's voice. Lead with Love, 8 heart-centered strategies for exceptional leadership. You know where to find it on Amazon. The Audible is coming soon. If this series has moved you this month, the book will go even deeper on everything that we covered over the last 4 weeks. It's been fun. I hope that you all listened. Next week, we are starting fresh with a new season, the C in Just Care, comunicación. Vamos a hablar de comunicación. And I'm kicking it off with a story about a wonderful man, a massive miscommunication, and a lesson that changed how I led and how I love. You do not want to miss it, okay? So, listening, you all, is not the absence of talking. It is an active, intentional, courageous choice to make another human being feel like they matter. And in a world that is moving faster, oh my God, it's going so fast and getting louder by the day, that choice is becoming more rare, but also more powerful at the exact same time. Your people are not asking you to be perfect. They are just asking you to be present. Oh, presence over perfection any day. They want you to put down the phone. They want you to look them in their eyes, to mean it when you ask them how they're doing. Be that leader today, starting today. Today is a beautiful day to start. It's beautiful outside. I'm leaning into my purple today. It's a beautiful day to start. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining me on the Lead with Love podcast. Remember, if today's episode convicted you, good. I hope it did. I hope it convicted you because it convicted me in some spaces. But then I want you to share it with the leader who needs to hear it, because somewhere on your team, on their team, is a person who has been waiting to be heard. Do not forget to subscribe so that you do not miss episode 31. Next week, communication deep dive. It's going to begin. And remember, leading with love is not a one-time decision. No, it's a daily choice. So until next time, be well and lead with love. I've got my love necklace on today. I don't know if y'all can see it. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.